Hey there, I'm Aki and welcome back to another video. Today we'll take a look at the story of Subnautica Below Zero and what mysteries there are still to be solved. Also make sure to stick around until the end to participate in the giveaway for Subnautica Below Zero I'm currently running. And before we start, since we will be taking a look at the entire story, there's a huge spoiler warning. To understand what happens in Below Zero, we have to quickly recap what we learned about Planet 4546b from the original game. Over 1000 years ago, the Almanac or precursor race discover an alien bacterium named Kara, which could potentially wipe out entire planets. They start trying to develop a cure, setting up multiple research facilities to study the bacterium and find a cure. They discover that the Sea Emperor species can produce the enzymes that counter the Kara. They set up a special research facility in the lava zone in order to study the Sea Emperor specimen, but then find out that it's too old to produce a stable version of the enzyme, which is only capable of delaying the Kara's effects. Because of that, they turn to the Sea Emperor eggs, however they cannot figure out how to hatch them. In a desperate attempt, they try to forcefully cut out an embryo from its egg, causing the fetus to die, along with the hopes of rescuing the planet. Reluctant to risk any more of the precious eggs, they turn to a similar leviathan-class species, the sea dragons, in hopes of learning how to hatch the eggs like this. After they bring a sea dragon egg into the secondary research facility in the Lost River, the angry parent attacks it, causing the Kara to be released into the wild. Over the span of only a few months, the Kara wipes out most life forms, forcing the remaining ones to rapidly adapt. The precursors then upload their consciousness to caches, in a last attempt to save the species and set up a planetary defense system to ensure the bacterium never leaves the planet. They also create the self-warping quarantine enforcer units, short warpers, which are supposed to get rid of any infected individuals or creatures on the planet by killing them. After that, the last precursors go into hibernation in their caches, in hopes of surviving the Kara. Over 900 years later, a Mongolian spaceship, the Degassi, gets shot down by the giant gun the aliens built. The crew, consisting of Paul Torgel, Bart Torgel and Maguerit Maida, build a makeshift habitat on the floating island, but eventually decide to go deeper into the Grand Reef, leading to their demise. Bart Torgel dies after the destruction of the deep Grand Reef base by a Reaper Leviathan, during which Maguerit Maida disappears. Bart managed to survive for an unspecified amount of time before he fled to the floating island base, where he made his final log in a Western observatory and succumbed to the Kara.
Until then, well, there's always the view.
Then, a decade later, the Aurora, tasked with building a phase gate in the Adrian Arm, performs a slingshot maneuver around planet 4546b and gets shot down by the planetary defense system. Riley Robinson, the only survivor of the crash, discovers the now pretty much extinct precursor race's facilities and learns about the Kara. He also manages to find the still living Sea Emperor.
Are you here to play? Others came here once. They built these walls. They played alone. They bored me. Now they're gone, and instead, we have you. We are curious whether you swim with the current or fight against it, as they did.
With its help, he hatches the Sea Emperor's eggs and manages to cure the planet with the help of enzyme 42 produced by the babies. He then builds a makeshift rocket in order to return to Federation space.
Neptune 1 rocket online.
Here he informs the Altera Corporation about the precursors and their planet. This is where Subnautica's story ends. At the beginning of Below Zero, which is set a year after the events of Subnautica, Alterra sent the Vesper, a space station built to orbit planet 4546b and support researchers on the surface. Most of the research is already completed, but a small team remains to investigate Site Zero, a precursor sanctuary in the Arctic, and the only one they haven't gained access to yet since a force field is denying them entry. After one of the researchers goes missing, a colleague named Robin Goodall goes searching for him during a storm. She barely escapes an avalanche, crushing the research base. She also experiences a few strange events where a precursor sanctuary talked to her.
Access denied. Further efforts will be denied forcefully. Concede, Robin Goodall.
After being forced underwater and investigating her surroundings, she discovers a new alien sanctuary in the Twisty Bridges, containing a precursor consciousness named Al-An. Accidentally, she ends up downloading the precursor consciousness into her own mind.
Storage vessel found. Commence to download.
Since both her and the alien know that if Alterra finds Al-An, they will abuse his power, both try to hide him from the corporation. This is where the current storyline ends, and everything from here is just my speculation based on some facts. In order to hide Al-An from Alterra, we will have to find or build a new body for him, which means collecting precursor technology and assembling it. Another big part of the story will be Maguerit, one of the crew members of the Degassi, which crashed over a decade ago. She seems to have survived the Leviathan encounter and then have moved to the Arctic, where we most likely will encounter her and where she will play a big role for Subnautica Below Zero. The first part of the Maguerit story will actually be added in the next early access update, according to the development Favreau, so we'll know more about it then. Some unfinished dialogue with the Vesper crew when picking up Enzyme 42 from one of the Sea Emperor juveniles also suggests that Alterra is interested in the cure for Kara. Since they also want a sample of the bacterium, it seems like it will play a big role again, so maybe there will be a second outbreak and Alterra has to take care of it. Another important detail is our boss. Our only dialogue with him hints at a very bad relationship to Alterra, which might mean that we might eventually ignore our orders and have to survive on our own without Alterra's aid.
Goodall, this biosample you sent us, it bears no resemblance to your biometrics.
I think
And the alien facility, it spoke your name?
that's...
What is happening down there, Goodall? I would ask your colleague, only he disappeared. Silence! Where is the other one?
Here, sir.
If you mean to make Vice President manage your people.
Yes, sir.
What is this, bien qui? I said senor.
Sir, if I could just...
He's gone.
This will of course add a huge scariness factor to the game, since we won't have Alterra support and could die any second. And that's all we know so far, but if you found anything I missed, make sure to let me know down in the comments below. Now, to win the free copy of Subnautica Below Zero, all you have to do is like this video and subscribe, and join my Discord server, where you can participate. But for now, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like. If you really liked it, then subscribe. And as always, I'll see you next time. Goodbye! Come on, add the Snow Fox already.